when it comes to twins, is very different. Yeah, it's very different from majority of people,
Because you
what they
have-
experience.
Yeah, like, so from a twin point of view,
Yeah.
you have identical twins, which is what me and Charlie are, so we share 100%
So,
of our
yeah.
genetic code.
Oh, okay.
And then you've got non-identical that would share about 50%. So
Identical.
like, I can't remember the exact kind of terminology for the word, but it's like a mono, which is what me and Charlie are. It's like a monogaiotic twins, so it's like one egg, one sperm,
Mm-hmm.
which is what we are, that's split into two instead of two eggs, two sperms. So that's where you get non-identical, where you can get a girl and a boy,
Okay.
or you can have
Two boys.
or two girls that are two separate eggs that got fertilized. But me and Charlie
Yeah.
are one egg, one sperm that split into two.
Yeah, go on. Yeah. Yeah.
So we share 100% of our genetic code. But what's interesting in the study of finding out of nature versus nurture, so where you've got people that have characteristics of alcoholism, they wanted to know if that's actually something that you inherit from your genes, or is that
Mm-hmm.
due to your environment because you had a shitty upbringing, right? Or whatever led you to alcoholism. So they took identical twins, or you have identical twins that are separated from birth, that have same genes but are raised differently or reared differently, right? And then they looked at those two identical twins and saw what similarities they had. And from my research, some of them were so specific. Like, they found, two of these twins in one study would both, even though they didn't know each other and were sort of reared separately, they both used to send love letters to their wife and hide them in the
Really?
house. So, and I think that when you look at genes, or when you look at genes so specifically like that, you can see that maybe these are, like, they're just expressing their ways in very different ways.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of goes to show how eerily close, or kind of almost how weird genes can be.
Yeah.
How specific they can express themselves regardless of the environment that they're in. And it suggests that there is a strong genetic influence within us,
Mm-hmm.
that's from, way back when, that might not necessarily be environmental. And I think that was the most interesting thing that that study allowed to happen. But in my view, I don't necessarily think that it could examine how influential genes are environmental is. I still think there is this big debate, regardless of twins. I think what that kind of showed from my point of view is that, yes, we do have a great influence from our genes, and it can be so specific, but there's also such a great impact that our environment has as well.
Exactly. So, again, I prepared some questions because I'm fascinated about you and Charlie and how you think, and it's very interesting because I remember when we met in a coffee shop and we talked, and then we decided to do the podcast. I was looking at you, and that was probably the first time when we we have a proper chat. And I remember I was looking at you, and in my head, I was thinking, you're not even. It's not even that you're looking the same with Charlie.
Sound the same.
And your manners as well, the
So,
hand raises
yeah.
and the expressions of face. I was looking at you, I was like, oh my days, you are so similar with him. And so as you getting older, obviously you have different friends and different life experience. I know you're running a business together, but so automatically you spend a lot more time together. But how do you see that?
How do I see the differences?
How do you see the differences, and what distinguishes as you're getting older?
It's what's the difference that I can distinguish between us two now?
Yeah, that's it.
I would say that, I mean, Charlie's a bit more maybe mature than I am in some ways. It's really interesting because there are some things that we disagree on, and there are some, because if I also think about mine and Charlie's upbringing, we've had the exact same environment, like, all the way through. We've done the same things, we've worked together, we've lived together. You would think that we couldn't be any more similar than what we are, but there are differences in the way in which we think, for sure. Like we argue a hell of a lot and stuff, but there are certain, I would say, maybe values and interests and things that we have that are different. Our goals are different, which is also really healthy.
Really?
Yeah.
Your goals are
Like we
different.
both have similar goals, but I would say that we have different hobbies and interests. We have different. I'd say, yeah, at the end of it, we probably have different goals. I think Charlie wants maybe. It's hard because I don't want to speak for him, but I'd say knowing him that he probably wants maybe somewhat of a bit more of a simpler life, maybe not, and like it's driven in different ways than I am.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, Charlie can put his foot on the brake a bit more, whereas I'm like tunnel vision, will work till you know an ungodly hour. Whereas Charlie will be like, no, I'm gonna do this. I've got my boundaries. I want to focus and succeed in this. I want a balanced life.
I know you openly talked about OCD. Does Charlie has one?
No, not at all. No.
Do you think
Charlie's
that?
like an avid nail biter, and I'm not really.
Yeah. He said it, but he said he's a lot better with it now.
Not bad with it now, yeah. But maybe for an environmental reason he had that.
Well, Lily he said that Lily bought him like a set for
nails and stuff.
nails and stuff. Yeah, so he's
yeah, it's
doing
weird.
that.
I would say that I've got inherently more problems with that, which is really interesting because you would think same upbringing, same. So maybe there's something in our genetic code that's different. That's maybe, I don't know, because I don't know anyone in my family that might have that. Yeah, it's weird. I think maybe Charlie's a bit more creative in his thinking, whereas I'm a bit more logical.
Yeah. I can see that, you know. Yeah. I can see that. Yeah, Charlie's definitely more creative.
Yeah, it's weird. We think differently, but we complement each other in ways like that. But we're also so similar.
Yeah, definitely. I remember that day when I saw you two for the first time in one spot at your house during COVID. I was like, it was just, my mind just blew, man.
When we work together on like DOSMAS and stuff and people see us chefing, they're like,
Yeah. It's so
it's
trippy,
so
man.
crazy. It's so trippy. And but it's obviously a real pleasure because it's also like kind of seeing myself back at me. But twins is funny because you have this intuitive kind of feedback with each other. You kind of know what the other person's thinking in a way.